A lot of times with educational technology, there's either a lot of setup or a lot of end work that the teacher has to do, and it sometimes seems like the teacher is working harder than the students, and Flippity is not an example of that.
It's a really simple concept where there's all of these different games or tools, and they all use a Google Sheet, and that sheet is automatically created by the teacher by clicking template. And when you click template, it gives you the option to make your own copy, and there's a little bit of work you do, very minimal, and then you've got this great tool for students. So we're going to look at two of these today. We'll look at spelling words and flashcards. So when I clicked template, it already made a copy for me. And here you can have up to 50 students across the top, and then these individualized word lists for students to practice with. So you might have some content words, but you can also have words that are specific for that student. So I made them red just so they stood out, but you don't need to do that at all. And then in the case of homonyms, so for example, John has the word 8 and 8. In quotation marks, you can write a short sentence, and then the computer will read that to the student so that they're spelling the correct version of the homonym. So once again, I just put the kids' names here, the words that I wanted for the individual student under their name. Under options, you can change the rate that the computer reads the words to students if you wanted to. And then get the link here. This link was already created for me. All I have to do before anything works is go to File, Publish to the Web, and Publish. And what that does, it allows the Flippity website to pull the information from your sheet. Now I can close it, and now my link will work. And I can give this link to students via Google Classroom or on a website, or I can shorten the URL so they can just type it in, a QR code. There's lots of different ways to get there. Now this is a place for practice. So let's say I'm John, I go in and I can hear the words being read to me.
Rock, R-O-C-K, rock.
And if I click on Olympia, it will let me know that it's a capital O when it's reading that to me. So here's my list. And now let's go to practice.
Spell, rock. Good.
And it'll go through those.
Spell, mineral. Good.
And then quiz.
Spell, democracy. Spell, rock.
And it doesn't let me know right away. If I got it right or wrong, it's not going to tell me till the end.
Spell, ate. He ate the apple. Ate.
So there you can hear the sentence to help me know which homonym.
Spell, erosion. Spell, Olympia.
And again, it is case sensitive. So I'm going to do uppercase.
Spell, multiplication. Spell, evaporation. Spell, mineral. Spell, 8. The octopus has 8.
Okay, so I wanted to get some wrong intentionally so you can see what that looks like. And there's not really a great way for students to turn this work into you, but it gives them a great way to practice words that are individualized for them. They can practice in computer lab, on Chromebooks, at home, or at school. So it's just a great way to get that individualized practice. So now let's go ahead and look at the flashcards. Now the flashcards section is a little different because you're sharing the spreadsheet with students so they can create the flashcards. You're not doing all the work. So if you click on demo, we can see the different games that are created because we're going to start at the end and work our way backwards a little bit. So here's the note cards. I can flip over the note card to see the answer on the back. I can move through them if I don't think I need to do that. Maybe they're ones that I know and I come to something I don't know, and you'll see not only is there text, but there's images. I can flip those over as well. And you may have noticed that the text and the note cards are different colors. We'll look at why that is in a little bit. But there's a list of all the questions and answers. Again, those different colors are being noted. Practice, it has the question, you can type in the answer. Matching, you can click on one bubble, find its match, and click on the other. So the largest animal on Earth and blue whale, they disappear. And let's see, word cloud. For this example, it's not a great word cloud. And then more, it gives you some other games. So depending on how you're using this, it's super flexible. Some of these games will work better than others. But let's go back to Flippity, and you'll want to click on Template, make a copy. Now you can ask really black and white questions like they did in the example, maybe some vocabulary, words and terms, or facts, but it can also be very ambiguous. So for example, if we wanted to do themes from Stargirl, I would rename this. I would click the folder button to file this away in a place that's going to make sense to find it again later. And I would also need to click share. And I want to share this with all of my students so they can be the ones entering information. So I need to make sure that I hit change. I really want it with anybody with a Canvas, in Canvas with a link. That way students have to log in so I know who's done which work. And I want to make sure that they can edit. So when I hit save, here's my link, and I could copy and paste that onto Google Sites or to Google Classroom. I can shorten it and share it. There's lots of ways to get it to my students. So now I might want to go through and say, and put my directions here on line 3. So all I've done is added a little bit of directions. I want them to find some sort of image that represents a theme from Stargirl, and then explain why they chose that image and some evidence of how that does connect to a major theme. And I've already shared it with my students, so they're ready to go. As they walk in the class, I would probably just hand them a little ticket that has one of these numbers so that they would know which row to go into and start working, and that way it's still anonymous. So if I found an image that I want, maybe I go to Google Images, and this is an image that I think represents Stargirl, I can click on it. And I don't want a link to a website, I want a link to the actual file or image. So I'm going to go to View Image, and I'm just going to go and copy this URL. And if I go to the end, I will see it ends in JPEG, so that's going to work just fine. I can copy that and paste it here. So if I was the student that got number 4 when I walked in the door, I'm just going to paste that, and then I can explain my thinking here. So now I have my student information. I went ahead and I deleted the row with the directions. I don't want that to show up in the note cards, and I went to File and Publish to the Web, just like we did with the spelling game, so that Flippity has access to this information. So then, like I said, every student has a number when they walk in the door. If you have them trade a few times, now maybe I'm evaluating, I entered number 3 as my information, but I'm evaluating person 6, and I don't even necessarily have to know who that is. But I'm going to read my information here. So maybe I think they just might want to fine tune. So I'm going to write the word orange. Maybe I think they have a great image, and I can leave some comments. Nice image and theme. Need more evidence. So I can go through here and evaluate these. Each student could do one, but that's up to you. And let's do a red one. So now I can go to get the link, and here's where it puts it all together. And then this is a great link for kids to click because they can go and see everybody's work, and they can see the image, flip it over to see what the student wrote. And you can see these backgrounds are blue, so the evaluator thought they did a good job. This one's red, so maybe something's off. Maybe they didn't quite answer the question. And then we have orange. The list puts all the pictures side by side with the text. Practice is not really going to work in this situation. Matching might be a fun one. Word cloud also doesn't work. Word cloud is a little funky with Flippity. It's really just using that first column. So that's another way that you can use Flippity to include images, text, and really make something that's collaborative. So students are having to show you their own knowledge, but then also evaluate somebody else.